Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So this is session 2, and you should be watching session. You should have watched session 1. If you haven't, this will be a little bit hard to pick up. So session 1, we talked about blending and how it is an apple. Sounds like it's an apple. It's an apple. So it's really important that you understand that step. And then the second one I want to talk about today is TD change. And I'm talking about Canadian language. I'm not talking about Australia and UK and New Zealand and different countries. I'm talking about generally Canada and the US. And what I want to point out is the difference between, just like I did with the first session, the difference between what English looks like and what English sounds like. So if we're looking, for example, if you see the word W-A-T-E-R, it looks like water, but I want to point out that the T and D often changes in North American English. So I don't say water, I say water. I don't say computer, I say computer. Looks like computer, sounds like computer. 13 numbers are the same, and then I want to talk about some phrasal verbs and how those match together. Those some unique cases where T changes to D. So water, computer, looks like water, sounds like water, computer, better, activity, get up, sit-ups. Sit-ups is an exercise to help your abdominals. And particularly with numbers, to make those easier to understand, I say 13, but I also change it with 30. So sometimes the T changes and sometimes it doesn't change. Sometimes it changes, T changes to D, and sometimes it doesn't change. So 13, it doesn't change. 30 changes. Let me show you the trick. Here it comes. Here's the trick, and it works almost everywhere. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, what's really important is what's the word stress, the intonation for the word water. So it's water, 2 syllables, right? Water. Computer is 3. Better, 2. Activity, 4. So you need to understand about where the word stress is. So on the word water, there are 2 syllables, and the first one is stressed. Water, 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 right? The first one is the big stress, and the T is off stress, so it changes to D. Water, T changes to D. Okay, next one. Let's see. Is that rule always true? Computer, computer. 3 syllables. Computer. It's not computer. It's not computer. It's computer, 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 computer. In this case, stress is on the pu. So the off stress T again changes to D sound. Computer, water. Okay, how about this one? Better, 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 better. 2 syllables. First one is stressed. It's not better, it's better, better. So the off stress T changes to D. Better, 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 better. T changes to D. Okay, how about this one? What if we have 2 T's? How do we decide which one is TD change? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Let's try this one. Activity, activity, activity. 4 syllables. Activity, no. Activity, yes. Activity, no. Activity, no. So 4 syllables. The stress is on the second one. Activity. So because it's on stress, it stays as a T sound. If it's off stress, it changes to a D sound. So this is a perfect example for you to remember. The word activity in North America, in Canada, we don't say activity, we say activity. So the T is stressed, so it doesn't change. But when it isn't stressed, it often changes to D. Activity, 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 activity. Okay, so another one is, how do we decide numbers? 13 and 30, 14, 15, 16, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So let's think about that. 13, 13, 13. Of course, the T is on the stress point, so we don't change it. But on the numbers 30, 40, 50, 30, 40, 50, 30, 40, 50, 60. Since the T is not on the stress point, the T changes to D. So that's the big difference in pronunciation between 13 and 30 is word stress. 13, 30, 13, 30, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, right? Stress point, 13, 14. So that's the stress point. Now, on the next one, 30, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So that's the difference, is when the stress point is a T, it stays as a T sound. When the stress point is not a T, it changes to a D sound. 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is the strong T sound. And when it's not stressed, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, then it changes to the T changes to a D sound. So that should really help understanding what's the word. Part of it is, do you know the difference between 13 and 30? And the other one is, what is water? What is bedder? What is activity? So when you hear better, water, computer, then you need to understand that computer is actually computer, but we don't say the strong T in North America. The T changes to a D sound. Okay, here's the last little trick. Get up, even though we say get up, the T changes to a D because it's a blend. Remember we did in the first session, we talked about a blend. So the get up changes to a blend. Let me draw that for you so you can see it, right? We did this before, get up, and we also talked about sit up or sit-ups. So that's what happens is when we do a blend, then the T often changes to D. When you hear people talking, they won't say get up unless they're British. People don't say get up, they say get up. What time do you get up? What time do you get up? What time do you get up? So I wanted to talk about those 3 points. Numbers are tricky, but generally, depending on word stress, off stress T changes to a D sound. And then the last one I wanted to talk about was when we're talking about, just a second, when we're talking about this one, here we go. Whoops, wrong one. Here we go. No, that's not it. Okay, here we go. So when we're talking about blending, then the TD often changes as well. All right, let's go back to the video we were just watching so we can listen to Disney, we can hear the singing. Now what we're looking for is blending, and we're also looking for TD change. Okay, just hang on for a sec, I'll set that up. Okay, so here we go with the same little audio clip that we've been working on. This is the Frozen soundtrack, sorry about that, but it's really easy to show as an example. So we're looking for blending from session 1. We'll review that a little bit, and then we'll also talk about the TD change. So let's go ahead and listen. Sing along if you like. Okay, so let's do a little bit of analysis here beforehand. Let's check. So we're always looking for the blend area, right? Snow glows well. Okay. Now, the other thing that we're looking for is when there's a blend with a T sound, it often changes to D. Okay, so let's have a listen and see whether or not that makes a difference. The snow glows white on the mountain tonight. Okay, now did you hear that? I think I'll wheel back a little bit so you can hear that again. There is indeed T changes to D. Snow glows white on, white on, white on. White on is fine. I don't say that, but you can. But she doesn't. She sings white on. The snow glows white on, white on, white on the mountain tonight. Let's go back a little bit. One more time. You can listen to this at home. You can try this. You can go to YouTube and look. Okay, let's go back a little bit, see what happens. The snow glows white on the mountain. There you go. TD, change, and the blend. Remember we said get up and sit up? When there's a blend with a T sound at the end, it often changes to D, white on. Okay, so let's clear those, and then let's go to the next one. Oh, perfect. So there we go. So let's go back and have a quick look at that one. There's another blend. There's another blend with a T, and it sounds like D. Not a footprint. No, not a footprint. So let's wind back a little bit so you can have a look at that. Not a footprint. Okay, that's pretty short. You can try this at home. Have a look through and see whether you can identify, whether you can find those blends.
Not a footprint to be seen.
Nada, not a footprint, nada, not a footprint. So there's another example. Let me clear those and move on to the next one. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we're looking for the blends. This is the double blend that we talked about before. Kingdom of Isolation. There's no T that we can change into a D anyway. So let's just look for the blend.
A kingdom of isolation.
Okay, here we go. Oh, that's almost in the right spot. Let me clear those out. And it looks like I'm the queen. It looks like Kime. She has a pause there because of the music, the phrasing. I'm not sure there's a TD change here. Let's listen and check.
And it looks like I'm the queen.
There you go. Okay, so you saw in the first two examples, even within this really short piece, there were some examples of TD changes, right? And now the whole song is like that, but if you look at the title is Let It Go. You want me to write that on there? Okay, let's go ahead. And put an exclamation mark at the end. Let me make the letters nice and big. Oops, let's make sure we don't make a spelling mistake. Okay, super big letters. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Oh, that's big enough, I guess. Okay. So here's the name of the song, right? And what are we looking for? We're looking for this. And since that's a T, the blend changes to D. She doesn't say let it go. She says let it go. Even the name of the song includes that TD change and the blend. So this is a perfect example. That's why I used it. Even if you don't like Disney, it's a perfect example of blend and TD change. And the next session, we're going to talk about pause, and that's also right in the title. So let's go back and talk a little bit. So let me go back to the slideshow. Hang on for a second. Okay, so we're back to the slideshow. Water, computer, better, activity, get up, sit up, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Water, computer, better, activity, get up, sit up. So this is the end of the second session, right? So the TD change to introduce you to that trick in English. Number one again, so that when you hear it, you can understand it. Number two, the next step for you is can you actually say it when you're speaking? Again, this is Canadian, North American English style, right? Different countries have a slightly different style, but if you're trying to understand and you want to try to use it, water, computer sounds natural, right? And it's a little bit faster. Water, computer is difficult to say. This is easier to say. So here's what I recommend. The first three people who respond or comment in the video, if you go to Vocaroo, and I'll show you that in a minute, and you record and you put it in the comments, the first three people, I'll give you some feedback. I always promise I'll do that. Good luck and keep on studying.